Welcome back to the channel, Bridging the Gap, Student to Engineer, where STEM professionals provide advice to students. This video is a school deep dive into the University of Cincinnati. They do not have a whole lot of information available, but there are a few little tidbits we can pick out of what we can see. So we'll go over that. Let's get right into it. The University of Cincinnati has information about its post-graduation outcomes on a website. This really doesn't give us a whole lot of information and is not dynamic, but we will look through what they provide for us and have a few comments on it. The first thing I just want to point out is in the middle here, they do adhere to the NACE, or National Association of College and Employers, guidelines for post-graduation outcomes or first destination survey. So that is good, and that means that we can easily compare it to what other schools are telling us about what their grads are doing. So in order or in line with those NACE guidelines, the University of Cincinnati is showing its graduation or post-graduation data for the class of 24. So that's about what everyone else should be showing. The data here is for all colleges, so I'll just point out that they have a really good response rate. Their success rate among all colleges is in the high 90s, which is great to see, with some pretty reasonable starting salaries across the board. So the only hint we have, or the more information we have into engineering, is the College of Engineering and Applied Science data right here. Just overall, the successful outcome rate, 95.5% for all of the College of Engineering and Applied Science. That's a really great number. 86% being employed is really high. The percent of students enrolled in continuing education is really, really low. What I typically like to see is, or typically see, is this in the mid-20s. When it's in the teens, that seems kind of low. When it is below 10%, that is extremely low. So just something to be aware of if you are going to go to the University of Cincinnati for engineering or applied science. The rate of people around you going directly to grad school is pretty low. Not a bad thing or a good thing, but it is just that way. And then the 3-year average starting salary. The notes elsewhere just say that they like to take the average over 3 years to give a more general view of the salary. And so 78,000 is a really good number. I will note that the University in Cincinnati has a pretty strong co-op program. They say that they originated the co-op model, a strong co-op program, and all graduates in engineering and applied science are required to do a co-op. That is 2 to 5 sessions. And I will provide a link to their page where they talk about co-ops. It is nice to see that they offer international co-ops as an option to some students. So, if it's something that you're interested in studying abroad and co-oping, that could be a good opportunity for you. Since we're on this chart or table that shows all of the salaries across, or the data across all of their schools, I just want to point out, a reason that people go into engineering is this last column right here, where average starting salaries. There are a couple more colleges that are close, and nursing is actually a little bit higher than engineering. But for the most part, starting salaries in other schools, so generally among other majors, is significantly lower. And the University of Cincinnati has pretty consistently high positive student outcome rates, which is really great to see in any school. But the starting salaries here are just an indication of how engineering compares to other majors. Okay, so let's go down to the next section, the top 10 employers. These are across all majors. I don't have the ability to filter for engineering and applied science, so I'll just go through them pretty quickly. But I do want to point out the one that is, let's see, 7 and 9. So these are the ones that I think are most likely where the engineering are going. Total Quality Logistics and General Electric. Um, these are more technical companies, but General Electric being pretty high on here just indicates that the students may be staying local and going to work for a large company. But if GE is something that you were interested in, University of Cincinnati might be a good place for you to go. Okay, then let's just go to employment locations. There's a few interesting things to talk about in this section. So the school is in Ohio. Cincinnati as a city and the school itself, therefore, are adjacent to Kentucky. So it would make sense that Ohio and Kentucky are the two most frequented locations for graduates. Now, the next couple ones here are different than what we typically see. So Florida is 3. Typically, what we see in engineering schools is there are a lot of students that go to California, Texas, and Washington. Washington doesn't even make the list, and California and Texas are here, but they are after Florida and Illinois. Now, also, this is not just engineering distribution, and so there may be other majors that are pulled down to Florida, or maybe over to Illinois, which would be pretty close to there anyway. But anyway, Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, those usually don't feature very highly on school outcome locations either. So anyway, interesting results, nothing bad or good, but definitely indicating that the University of Cincinnati has really good outcome rates um, with a required co-op program and starting salaries that are very healthy. And graduates go a number of different places, not just staying regionally, but definitely a lot of opportunities regionally. That is all the data that's publicly available through the University of Cincinnati. Just enough to get a little bit of a picture of what you might see or what results you might see if you go to the school. We hope you found this video to be helpful. If there are other schools that you'd like to look at and you're comparing a few, just please leave a request and we will get to them.